Hey, what's up, guys? So, I always see all these posts about masculine and feminine, how things are supposed to go down, right? But I'm gonna give you all an example, and this woman really set a standard without even knowing she set a standard for me for the rest of my life. Okay, and I'm gonna give you this example, this story of like how an example of like how real masculine and feminine energy works together. Okay, so a lot of times men have a lot of these masculine people like want masculine men, and they think that that he just leads and she needs to be submissive, right? That's true and not true. Okay, to be a real masculine leader, you also have a queen, right? A king and a queen, right? And a queen makes a lot of different moves too, all right? But as a king, you must allow her to speak her mind and you absorb her thoughts. And we both carry masculine and feminine energy too. So as a woman, if you're in a moment where you have to lead, you also need to be willing to take an opinion. So to absorb it and see, can this work? And really think about it, not just because he gave your or she gave you an opinion, you get irritated. Because I see that happen with my own father. The opposite of it, right, is that like they give ideas and then they get irritated by the idea, like they're dumb. It's how they speak to you first and foremost. So if they're just speaking like, let me tell the story, okay? So I'm at this girl's house hanging out, and I'll say this: I really did like her. I liked her a lot, you know what I mean? And there's things that she showed me where like I really could count on her in some ways. Did it work out? No, but she set certain standards because of who she was. And my heat went out in my home, and it was getting cold. It was just me, and the place I lived at was shitty ass. It was a shitty apartment complex, and they just weren't doing what they needed to do to take care of things. And I was like living in my house with no heat other than my little space heater, and it was just really cold, and I was having trouble trying to warm up. So I hit her up. I was like, hey, can I come over and warm up your house for a few hours? And while I was there, because I'm the type of person, like, when you help me, I have the drive into me, like, is there anything I can do? I may not be able to give you money, or if you need money, I would, but like, I wanted just to do things that will help her in a way that she can't get help from other people, that maybe she just needs a man's help. Oh, my back's need to stretch later. And so she happened to have, like, that, I think it's called a walker. It's where you put, like, this baby thing together. And, like, where it has the wheels on it and the baby sits in there and has little toys on it and it helps them, like, kind of move around a bit, And so I was like, yeah, man. I was like, she happened to have that. I was like, hey, I can put this together for you, And I was like, I got my tools out in the car. So I ran out to my car, grabbed my tools, started to put it together for her. And I was struggling. I hit a point where, like, because I couldn't find no instructions, and it turned out the instructions were on the box, like on the box, on the outside. But like as I was doing it, she was giving me her opinions, like, and I was like, interesting. Let me try this, and like maybe like I try it, because like I don't know, like this is a little bit different than the ones I've put together before, because I've helped raise kids, and my sisters had kids, and so even though I don't have kids doesn't mean I haven't had experience with them, right? And so I'm like trying to put it together. I was like, no. So then we tried something else, and then she made the story. This is what really awesome, because like I just hope I provide this for my future wife. Because like I know that some, just like women and just like me, I've experienced toxic females, right? And females have experienced toxic men, right? But like as I was leading, she allowed me to lead the whole process. She allowed me to do the work. She was never overminding my thoughts. She was just like, well, what about this? And she was in kindness when she did it. So she was never mean or made me feel stupid. And when she gave me her opinions, I never made her feel stupid or like shut the fuck up. I never was like that. I was just like, okay, let me try this, because I don't know what I'm doing either at this moment, and I need the help to do this. So, and you're giving me wisdom in ways like, because you're like, I see a different perspective. Why don't we try this? And eventually we got it. And then she brought up the story about how at a moment in her time, her baby daddy, they were doing some things together, and made her feel like shit, and she was like pregnant, I guess, and they were, I'm not gonna tell the whole story, but just I know that moment when I was doing that, it clicked in her brain a little bit, like, this is different. He's not getting crazy over why I'm helping him. He's actually just allowing me to help him and guiding me too, because like I was like, oh well, what if we did this and then we tried this, and eventually we figured, like, I put the whole thing together, but I was struggling with putting those the part where the baby actually fit into. I didn't know how to we were struggling trying to figure out how to get that in there, but eventually we did, and we got it, right? And I hope that like even though it didn't work out to us, but like there's things like when we come across people that we show these certain moments where like they can see something different. Because my job in this world is to bring a difference in people's lives, right? And it's not just me doing magical things and healing and being a warrior and fight, but like as a masculine man, our job is to protect, right? But a woman's job is also protect, because like a man can't be home all day. But so like you gotta understand that we're both leaders. We just lead in different ways. And we need to be able to, like, if you really want to be a true feminine and a true masculine, you got to understand that you guys are together as a team, which means like if they have an idea, stupid or not, you need to still embrace that they came up with an idea and not make them feel stupid. Now you might have to be like, I don't think that will work, but don't just be like, no, that's just not going to work. You need to explain so they understand, because it's about understanding, right? It's about knowledge is power, which means if they're trying to help and they're trying to help you through this, you need to give them the knowledge of why that won't work. Or you need to shut up, be willing to go, let me try this. And then allow yourself to learn at the process that you might gain. She might just give you a perspective that you need. And just like her, she might need a perspective that you have because that you are a man, right? You think differently than she thinks, right? Because women are emotional beings. The feminine energy is the emotions. The physical energy, the masculine energy is the knowledge, the intellect, the logic, right? But if you combine them, that's the whole point, is to combine them to be one with each other, which means that you guys get to flow in a higher output, which means that you come together to expand. So this is unexpansion, think of expansion, right? See how much more space there is now because that there's expansion between each other. And so you got to understand that like that's what it truly is to be a masculine, is to lead, but to know when to follow, to know when to absorb, to know when to like, I need to listen, right? Because a lot of these guys, I see it all the time in this world, especially I work in the construction field, is that men have a hard time because like, oh, I'm just better than you and I know better, instead of like, let me shut the fuck up, let me listen to what you have to say, and let me absorb this, and then I'll take in the parts that I truly resonate in myself to like, okay. And women, learn to sit back and not be emotional and really take in that logic. Learn to know to actually be led. Not saying that you can't have moments where you lead and do your things, because you're just as a powerful person too. But you need to know when to like allow your emotions to be chill so that you can actually take that logic in. You have to have a balance. And if you're out of balance, then you can't go forward. You're going to hit loops. You're going to hit that. Remember, we're going up the spiral, right? But if you get stuck because you don't know how to balance, you get stuck in loops. And that's where it means that we come together. That's why you need the masculine energy and masculine. That's why you need the feminine energy, because we are taught to be strong and to lead with logic, to think before we make moves. And it's really important, which the ding, see that? And feminine, you need to know when to just, to be followed, to learn, to listen, to like, let me take this logic in. So that you can be better. Because if you know more, then you can make better moves. It's not like I need to think like a man. You don't need to think like a man. You're a woman. But you also need to know that I need to think logically. And thinking logically isn't thinking like a man. It means I'm just thinking with intellect and wisdom. All right? Emotions are important. Emotions are important. But there's the difference. Is like you're to be here to nurture and guide and help. Right? And to raise up. As men, as we raise up, we build up and strengthen and protect. We still have nurturing in us, but we have intellect, knowledge to move, to grasp, to understand, right? And that's why it's important for both. And I just want to say, like, that moment in my life, I'll never forget it. Certain moments in my life with certain experiences and like things that I'll never forget that now shape me to where, like, if I'm with a woman, these are things that I need to experience, because if that is not happening, then I'm not going to be fighting somebody, so that I don't have a team player. I need a team player. And that person, she really made me realize this is like, if there was real love out there, that's part of what real love is that we're a team and that we're helping each other and giving each other opinions and helping each other see things from different perspectives. So I hope you guys like that. It's kind of like a twin flame journey type deal, but like also just like understanding both the masculine and feminine energy. So like, share, follow, and hit me up if you ever want to learn some cool magic. Peace out.